All right, welcome back and thank you so much for staying with Morning Live. We do know that this afternoon different formations in Cape Town will participate on marches ahead of Parliament's vote of no confidence debate against President Jacob Zuma, which is expected to take place today. Obviously today, as we have been reporting on the news, that the National Assembly Speaker, Baleka Mbete, is expected to announce whether the vote will be made a secret ballot or an open one at 3:30. So do stay tuned to SABC News Channel 404 for the latest in relation to that. But talking about the march that will take place in Cape Town this afternoon, Leanne is joined by a representative from the South African Council of Churches.
All right, thank you very, very much, Palesa. It's a big story. We need to emphasize it and highlight what's about to take place this afternoon and, of course, tomorrow. So let's focus on this afternoon first. Different formations in Cape Town will participate on marches ahead of Parliament's vote of no confidence debate against President Jacob Zuma tomorrow. Now, last week, the South African Council of Churches held a press conference where it encouraged parliamentarians to use their vote wisely and uphold the interests of the constituencies that they are serving. The SACC leadership is invited by the Cape Town Unite Religion to be part of the activities this afternoon. Bishop Zipho Ziwa, the presiding bishop of the Methodist Church of Southern Africa and president of the SACC, will be representing the SACC, and of course he is here to talk to us this morning. Bishop, thank you. Thank you very, very much for being with us this morning.
Good morning, Leanne, and the viewers.
Now, the SACC has been invited by the Cape Town Unite Religion, which we mentioned in the Western Cape province. Talk to us about this actual event and really the message you're trying to convey.
This is a civil society campaign, and it is a South African campaign. We do know that a number of opposition parties are asking for a no-confidence vote against the president. But we want to lift it to be more than just political parties, to be a South African citizens' campaign to help South Africa move forward.
Yeah, I know that this is the word that's been spoken about, and the letter that's been written to MPs is basically saying that this is the party's moment of truth.
Yes, it is. More than the moment of truth. I believe that almost every South African, including every parliamentarian and every member of all political parties, do know that the country is now in a crisis stage. And therefore, the call is, the reason we're going there today and not tomorrow is to make a cry, a lament, weeping to God to say, God help us. Then appealing to all parliamentarians to rise above party politics and say, South Africa first.
Yeah. You talk about the eroded leadership of President Jacob Zuma as the SACC, and we talk about the fact of how many motions of no confidence have been brought forward against the president already. Your views on all of this? I mean, what does this talk to us about the leadership of the party and, more importantly, of the country?
We're very much concerned because we all know, we've all made a determination now that the president has lost the moral authority to lead. He has presided over a government that has shown so many scandals, scandal after scandal, and he has removed ministers who were performing and left those who were underperforming. And so he's presiding over a government that is failing, a government that is launching us into a crisis status as a country. Junk status, recession, no good access to quality education, you name it. There are so many. But as far back as 2014, we had asked the president, because the prime thing for us would be for the president to resign on his own.
Yeah.
And that will cause less chaos. And if not, we had asked the party that has deployed him in parliament to assist him so that it doesn't come to this stage. Those two having failed. But let me say, Leanne, I think it's still time for the president to come forward and say, for the country that I fought for the country that I love, I offer my resignation, and that will be good for all of us.
Yeah, it's not the first time that religious leaders have spoken and asked President Jacob Zuma to step down. I know you came down quite harshly on him during the Constitutional Court hearings, when also after the Public Protector's findings. So it's been a long-standing echo to the president. Do you think that this time this will hold any results whatsoever, however?
No, because the majority party in Parliament has made a pronouncement that they will ask their MPs to vote against this motion.
Yeah.
We were wishing that even before the Constitutional Court, before the Public Protector, we said to the President, please rise and lead the country. Don't wait for the court. Don't wait for the Public Protector. You know what has happened around the Nkandla issue. Even before these other revelations, we had said, please take a lead, or make an offer to the South Africans. We'll rally around you. We'll assist you. Because I think the future also will need some forgiveness to take place. But he refused up until this point. So we hope that both the president and the parliamentarians, the public representatives, will now take South Africa serious, take South Africa first, and behave and engage in a way that will take us forward.
You know, we've had Bishop Mpulwana also speaking out and saying that leaders should rise above party politics and use their votes to uphold the interests of the constituencies they are trying to serve. But those who debate against it say those in Parliament can't make conscious decisions, but have been there to represent their parties. I mean, we've heard talks about intimidation. We've seen,
Yes.
we've seen MPs crying on live television about the intimidation that's been wagered against their family. And it's a very big concern that many may not be voting with their conscience and may be voting out of fear.
Of course, they'll be voting out of fear, and it's very unfortunate that at this stage in our democracy, we should be behaving in that way. That is why we call now upon civil society to make the point very clear that we are unhappy about the state of affairs, and we call upon parliamentarians as servants of the nation, as servants of the people who voted them to be there, to say, please help us at this time, and behave and engage in a way that will not launch this country into a chaos. Come up with a conversation amongst yourselves as public servants and lead us to a healthy trajectory.
We haven't heard the church as vocal as we have at this point since, I would say, the 1980s. This voice that is coming from the church, because one would always think that the church and politics is not something that necessarily is one. However, we're seeing that in South Africa it's taking a very different turn. Is it politics you're interested, or is it the moral degeneration of our country and society that you're worried about?
It is the well-being of the citizens of the country. It's the well-being of all of the creation. And we hope that those who serve us in Parliament will help us achieve those. The 1994 dream of an equitable, just society. We were hoping when we won democracy in 1994, the church said, I think now we've got the right leaders who have been placed there by the citizens democratically, and so they'll serve us well. Let's take a back seat and just pray for them. We were surprised that so soon, because we were all adults when 1994 came, that so soon after 1994 we are in this state of affairs. So we're disappointed, and therefore the church is beginning to say again, what we had hoped for, what we had hoped that has been achieved is now being thrown down the drain. So let us rise as civil society, let us rise as religious communities, let us challenge those who lead us But let us pray to God and say, God help us.
Yeah. All right, Bishop, we leave it there for this morning. Thank you very much. I know that you are obviously going down to Cape Town for this as well.
Yes, I am going to Cape Town.
Okay, and what time will it be happening today?
At 3 o'clock, the march will begin.
Okay. Thank you very much, Bishop. And at 3:30, of course, we'll hear the decision from the Speaker of Parliament, Baleka Mbete, on that particular vote, whether it will be a secret or open ballot. Bishop Zipho Ziwa is talking about the role of the SACC, that's the South African Council of Churches, in today's march ahead of the vote of no confidence. We'll see you after this. Do stay tuned to Morning Live.